Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and I am so glad you decided to join me today. I am in my flannel shirt and I have my coffee right next to me. The house is empty, so today is a wonderful day to record. I'm so glad I'm here with you guys, and I'm so glad you're here with me. I thought it would be really great since we're winding down 2024. It's almost Christmas. How great would it be for us to go over how to pick a one word for 2025? I know I've mentioned that I've done this, and this was my first year to pick a word, and it was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. It really did have a huge impact on me and my trajectory. Um, so I thought it would be really great just to kind of go over what it really means to pick out a word for the year. And I'm pulling all of my information from the book, the one word book. I took my dust cover off of it because I hate those things. I think they get in the way and they're just annoying. So I threw it away. But this book is very small. And some books are fluffy. So this book is a little fluffy, but it's okay. I'm not coming down on it. I'm just kind of being honest. But if you want to read this and get yourself a copy, to actually get the information you need, it's only 52 pages, because after page 52, they go over like testimonies and things, kind of just to, they have like a little thing that you can do, a little thing you can fill out at the back, and like what your word is that you've picked and that kind of stuff. So that's really not necessary to read. So really all you have to read is 52 pages, and it's such a small book. You could get through that in a day. I think I did. So anyway, that's where I'm pulling the information from today. You can also go online and you can look up picking out a word for the year. And there are different articles and things that people have written. There are YouTube videos, of course. But I really wanted to go straight from the book because they come at it from a Christian perspective, and I really love that. I think that keeps everything grounded and really kind of us focused on where we need to be focused on. So I just want to kind of go over some highlights of the book. I'm not going to pull out everything because that would be too much, even though the book is short. I am just going to pull out like the biggest key things out of the book, and we're going to go over those. And then I have a couple of things that I've done. I'm going to give you my list of the words that I have written down that I'm contemplating for 2025. And yeah, we'll start there and we'll just go with it. So to pick out your word, in the book, they list 3 steps. They have, and I'm going to go into them, and there's like sub topics for each step, or like guidelines for each step. So step 1 is to prepare your heart. So they say it's really important to unplug and get quiet. That means no distractions, no TV, no music, no people around to interrupt you, no something to distract you. Like if you were in your house or in a messy room, that wouldn't be conducive to you picking out your one word, because you would be focused on the mess, right? So picking a space, giving yourself space to be still, to get quiet, and to really think about, what should your one word be for the next year? Some things you can ask yourself: what do I need right now? What do I need to if you have a goal for next year, if you're have a business or a ministry or anything like that, which if you're listening to this channel, more than likely you either do have one or you're wanting to have one. So what do you need? What are you going to need in the future? What could you focus on that would help you reach that need? A second question was, what's in my way? What is keeping you from getting you to the next step on your journey? And what needs to go? What's in your life right now that is not serving you well? So those are just kind of some guiding questions to help you consider what words to write down. And this first step is just writing down some potential words for next year. So in a minute, we'll go over my list, and I'll kind of go into why I put these words down. But this is just to kind of help you identify what could potentially be a good word for you. So then the next step is discover your word by looking up. And now that you've unplugged, now that you've gotten quiet and you have a list of maybe one to, however many words, now it's time to plug back in and ask God, what should your word be? What should my word be for 2025? What do I need most? Because, we can identify needs or desires in our life or things that we think should go or should be there. But really, God knows exactly what we need. He knows what our focus should be. He knows where we're going to end up. He knows what our life is going to look like. So, who better to ask what our word should be than Him? So getting still, getting quiet, and then plugging back in that stillness with God is just so important to help you confirm which word it should be. And it's funny, actually, I just watched a Facebook Live of a friend of mine. She does this. She's a leader in so many ways, entrepreneur, mother, grandmother, just a wonderful human being. And she actually just did a video about picking one word. And she said, if you pray and you ask God, which word should it be? She said he confirms it. And that's been her experience. That's been, how when she's sat down and laid out these words and she's asked God to confirm which one it should be, she said he's showed up and he's confirmed it. So, your experience might be different. But I just feel really confident that you'll see it come up probably in some other area of your life, or you'll read it in something, or it'll just pass in front of you, and you'll get a feeling of what it should be. So after you pick a word that you feel is the one for you, that you want to go with, then he says you can do some things to help you live your word out. And they list several different creative ways to keep your word present, because you want to be intentional in living your word out for the year. So I wrote these things down. Then I have a couple extra that weren't from their list, but that are kind of just what I've heard, and one from, yeah. So anyway, I'm mumbling. Let's get on with it. So the first one is write it down. And obviously that's probably the most obvious way to remember it, is to write it down and post it in multiple places that you're going to see it, on your laptop, or on your mirror when you get up and get ready in the morning and you go to bed at night. Make a screensaver and make it your background, or on your phone, take a picture of it. Or, if you see a really beautiful quote that has your word in it, you can save that image and use it as your screensaver on your phone or on your computer. Keep a journal. Now, I really love this one. I didn't do this for this last year, but I think I know I really want to. Whether I will commit to this, I don't know, but I think this would be really fun to do for 2025. And it says, keep a journal and write down the insights and lessons learned each week. I have so many journals, so beautiful journals that I, need to use. So I kind of think I want to do that one. And in a way, it's kind of tracking what God is doing in your life throughout the whole year. And it's just coming at it from like a different angle, because there's prayer journals, and there's, just keeping a regular journal, and there's writing down prayers and that kind of thing. And I kind of think that this is just another kind of form of that, but you're very specifically focusing on what happened around your word. Like, how did it show up that week for you, and what did you learn, and how did you grow, kind of things. I think that's really cool. Start a one-word dinner discussion once a week where you talk about progress with your family. Again, if you have like older children, middle to, teenage years and older in your home still, then how cool would it be to get everyone in the family involved, and then you all discuss, what you learned that week. How did your word show up, and just having a conversation around it. This one's kind of fun if you like to gamify things, which I do. I kind of just do this in everyday life, just with random things that I do. But create a weekly challenge to grow in your chosen word. So again, sitting down intentionally, like maybe on a Sunday night, and be like, what can I do this week to grow in my word? So yeah, I think that's a really cool one. Look for sayings or quotes that relate to your word, and save those to your phone or have them somewhere. And then they had, I almost didn't include this one because it's kind of funny to me, but I don't know. It didn't speak to me, but maybe it'll speak to one of you. It says, pick a song that reminds you of your word. So if that's kind of how you learn things or that speaks to you, maybe do that one. Then I have a couple of extra. For me, it was put it on your vision board. So if you do vision boards, which I think they're a great thing to do. I need to do one still for 2025. Actually, this was a really good reminder to do one. I think put it on your vision board, maybe even, put it at the center and then what things around it, because anyway, that's maybe the way my mind works. I don't want to get into that and get in your head, but yeah, put it on your vision board. And then again, I from my friend who did a video on this like yesterday, she said she heard a tip from another woman. Find a book that has your word in the title of it. So, for instance, her word for 1 year was consistency, and she picked the consistency pill and bought that book and read it. And I think that's a really great way to incorporate that into your life. And then, reading your book, you're learning about your word. So I thought that was a really great idea. And then their last tip after you pick out your word is inviting people or one person, that's up to you, who will help you be accountable in living out your word. So someone you trust, someone who is willing to be an accountability partner with you and check in on you and be like, hey, how's it going? What are you learning? And y'all can figure out, how often, what does that look like? Is it a random checkup? Is it once a week, once a month? But having someone that can kind of walk that journey with you is always so helpful. I love having someone to keep me accountable. I love having a coach. That's just something that I crave and love because I know that in me, I can be very, I can go from one extreme to the other. I can be very driven, and then I can burn myself out really fast. And then I can just kind of check out for like a week or two at a time because I go so hard for so long. And then I burn myself out and need to heal, I guess, in other words, but kind of recharge and regroup. So don't do like I do. Have someone to help you stay accountable in a healthy way and don't get to the point where you're like just done. That's something that I need to do better in. So yeah, so some of the words that I wrote down for 2025 are as follows. I have wisdom, humility, reverence, and trust. Now, as I've recently started doing Bible studies on Wednesday mornings. I've absolutely loved it. It's been something that ever since I became a stay-at-home mom, now that the kids are older and I'm okay with like putting them in the, nursery and stuff, because I like to keep the kids close. That's just me. If they get upset or anything like that, I don't feel right dropping them off. That's just me. They're at a place now where they love going into and playing and being with the other kids. So I get to go do Bible study and it's so amazing. And I noticed that I felt like God was kind of putting in front of me that I need humility. I need more reverence of Him, and wisdom, I think, also came up too. And honestly, with the humility part, there have been areas of my life where I had pride and I didn't know it. And I never want to be that person who has a prideful heart, who becomes arrogant. And, I just I've for a long time, I've been very, that's just something that I just don't want to fall into. That's something I don't want to become part of who I am. I've always been very sensitive to that. And it just kind of popped up when I started doing these studies. That was something that, as I've been in the word, it just kind of popped up for me. So I wrote it down as a potential option. Reverence. Also, when humility came up for me, reverence came up for me. and having the Bible talks about having fear of the Lord and respecting God. Really, fear of the Lord means respect and reverence. And I know I do not have a proper fear of the Lord. I know that I need more work in this. And it's not in a um, intentional way. I'm not rebelling. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, is what I'm trying to say. It's just that I know that I am not fully appreciating God in all of his majesty. And I know that that's something that I could really uh, grow in. That is something I could really benefit me. Because I mean, when you think about it, the more that we understand God, the more that we learn about him and that we grow in our relationship with him and that we understand of him, that we know his character, that reverence is going to grow. So, so how would that happen? That would probably mean I need to read scripture. That would mean I need to pray. That would mean I need to continue on these Bible studies. I need to grow in my relationship with him. I need to have those kinds of activities that allow that. So, as you can see, like when you pick a word, there's so much that can happen around it that it's not just there can be multiple things that happen with that word. It's not just maybe in one category. It can affect multiple areas of your life. I'm focusing specifically on, spiritually, but I was having a conversation with my mom and I was sitting down writing these words and I was thinking, in the Bible, fear and reverence and respect, those were kind of on the same spectrum, like they kind of had similar meanings. Well, in life, when something happens and we're afraid or, we're worried, it's okay to have emotions. We're made to have emotions. And so when you think about fear, if in the Bible it uses fear and it means reverence or respect, then why cannot not be the same thing in life? So when something happens in my life, I can have a healthy respect for what is happening. I can have a healthy uh, understanding of what is happening in my life, and give it the weight that it deserves, acknowledge it, and then proactively work through it. And that is a healthy way to deal with something that may be frightening or really, really difficult. So anyway, I just thought that was there's a little added bonus for today's conversation. I thought it was just interesting that that words just have so much meaning and they're multifaceted. So I really hope that something has resonated with you. I hope that you choose to do this. I think it will be a big blessing, and I think the rewards are great when you do this. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, I would love to hear your potential words for 2025. Or, if you're listening to this and it's not 2025 or it's halfway through it and you have decided to pick a word, no matter when you hear this, I would love to hear what you've chosen. If you have any suggestions for future episodes or things you would like discussed, please feel free to email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will be seeing you again very soon.